I mean, the
Although,
only reason that I said don't start it because I was like, I don't know, this is like footage, it's not mine. Even though like I made the edits to it and stuff via his class, but he
yeah.
gave the link to download it. So that's what I thought
Hey,
was
send me the video actually, because I would like to learn how to do that. That's pretty cool.
okay. I'll have
At
to
least,
find it.
well, especially with the color transition, like the way he made that from like red to aqua, I think it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Play
And
the video one
so
more time so that way the people that are watching this can see it. If you're not watching this, you guys can watch this at For the Long Haul Podcast on YouTube.
oh no, but what about the sound? That sound's definitely gonna be like copyrighted. You
You
can
can just
use it
hit
on
mute.
Instagram though.
You can just
And
hit it mute.
yeah, but it goes with the music. Oh,
Yeah, but you know.
but it
Well,
goes
I mean, like, what is it, 5 seconds? I think that should be fine.
I don't know. I mean, it goes with the I mean, YouTube will know. Does that mean you have to give like copy? You have to give credit. You're supposed to give credit, but like on Instagram, you can do these with the shorts. You just add it through Instagram,
Well,
and
I
it
think that's
doesn't.
also like people either make it themselves and put it up, or they
Yeah,
get deals with the people that made the music.
I think we shouldn't play the music because your
Like,
channel only gets 3 copyright strikes, right? And then you're like screwed or something.
I mean, you can repeal it and all that. Like,
Oh,
you're like,
only
hey,
per
this
video.
isn't. This is hey, this is fair use and all that, and like they will review it and all that.
Oh, I totally. Oh no, you should put this on the video. The sound. I just took it from a video and I just recorded it to make creative work and not sell it, and this is for educational
I
purposes.
mean, I can't remember how much because there's an X amount of you can have so much sound before it's considered copyright. I can't remember how
Oh,
much it is. It's
huh,
like
I
you can
wonder if
use
that has
like
something to
bits
do
and
with
pieces of it.
yeah. And so I don't know, but yeah, I took it from a video like to get the audio file, and then I applied it to it. But this is for creative work to do this,
That
which
and right now we're not making any money off of any of this.
yeah,
If we were
which
making
I think
money, this
makes
would be a
this
bigger
fair.
thing. Yeah,
Which I think makes it fair because was for creative use, which is the whole reason I did it. So this makes it more of a in the art realm.
yeah.
I'm well not getting into the details of it now, but I guess we'll play it. So I made this. And so yeah, I made that whole thing
Because I
and I
kind of
watched
know
the
how to.
video.
Oh my bad. I kind of know how to do that in Photoshop, but not in After Effects or Premiere Pro.
Yeah, so this was in a not GIMP. It's called what the heck? I haven't used it in a couple. I don't remember the name of it. DaVinci Resolve.
DaVinci Resolve, okay.
DaVinci
Yeah,
Resolve.
you
Yeah.
haven't used that in a hot minute, have you?
It's been several weeks,
Yeah.
and maybe 3 weeks, and at least. But yeah, I went through here, and so I played the song real quiet, but like the fade out, fade in, and so the video clip is from the guy, and he taught me how to do the color wave when it comes by the car, and then I added the transition in and out, and then to go with the song part right here, that cool like black yeah.
Yeah, let me guess. You just kind of like cut like little bits of the video, right? To do that, like really like a frame and all that.
But I
I'm
didn't
assuming.
cut parts of the video because that's more complicated than not doing a black like square,
Oh, okay, okay.
and
I
it
mean,
just
yeah, you
goes
you can do that too. You can do that too. I was
because
yeah. See, my first thought
it's
would
much
just be
easier than instead of me cutting the video in fragments, I don't need to mess with the timeline of the video. All I did was take it and I have a square and I could copy and paste 4 of the things because they're the same length and put them right where they're supposed to be so they're on the spots to where it clicks right at the right time.
no. Yeah. You can do that too.
I got a little laggy there. Here it goes. So yeah, he taught me how to. Oh yeah, he did the whole thing, color wave in and then color wave back out. But then I added that. I added the song. I was like, this sounds badass with the song. I've seen this on a video. And then I was like, oh, I could do this. Oh, I could do this. Oh, I can shutter. And then I was like, oh, and then when I can make it leave and like fade real quick on that where it goes wow. So it's not just a cut to black. It like does that cool little like fizzle kind of. I don't know.
Yeah.
you can see it. It's like a zoom in and then to black, so where it, like it's a real hyper. But it, like I don't know, to me that noise, it goes with instead of like cut, it goes with like because it's a lingering noise, and so like to
No,
me,
I
yeah.
get what you're saying, kind of like a Zoom thing.
And so, yeah, dude, I was sick. I was so when I made this, I stayed up late. I started making it and did the colors, and then I was like, this is so freaking cool. I stayed up to like 2 a.m. adding this little different stuff to it, and which for me is I'm not really into like heavy video editing and stuff like that. I'm not really good at it, so I'm just experimenting, doing this different stuff. Oh, I'm gonna add a song to it. Oh, the song's cool. I'm gonna make this stuff go with it, and
Yeah,
doing
the
all
next
that.
thing you know, it's like 3 or 4 hours, and you're in like maybe 5 minutes into the video.
Yeah, and then I just freaking went through and did all this cool stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, this is freaking crazy. This is so cool. And then I'm like, it's done. And then, but yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Alrighty, guys. So that's it for the banter. Today we're gonna talk about should you leave your company? Should you leave your job every couple of years? Now, the reason we bring this up is because I got the idea from some TikTok and YouTube video, not YouTube, TikTok and Instagram shorts, reels, and all that. Where people are saying, "Hey, what's up?"
We have a thing that we do
Oh,
called
my bad.
Welcome to the For the Long Haul
Wait, didn't we
podcast.
do that before we started talking about the video? I thought we did.
No, because like
Okay.
I don't remember saying this is this and this is that.
Okay. Hey,
You
buddy.
see, like,
Welcome.
hey everybody, welcome back. But then you just went right into the thing. We got a thing.
Might be. All right, ready? Go.
Yeah.
I'm leaving all this in, by the way.
Yeah. Okay. Now I'm supposed to do it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, hey everyone. Welcome back to the For the Long Haul podcast. This is Blaine sitting alongside.
Brandon. And today we're going to be talking to you guys about what we think about the whole you should leave your job every couple of years. Now, we got this idea from, I brought it up to Blaine because I saw this on some TikToks and Instagram videos talking about, hey, like you should leave your job every couple of years and all that because apparently you tend to get a pay bump and all that whenever you tend to leave your job and go for a new job. And one of the things that they now, obviously, this is more for like higher level work, not like like waiting tables, like go from one restaurant to another and all that. More like from like
Mhm.
I guess more of a corporate or company based, and kind of like I mean those are like waiting tables and all that. You technically work for a company, but you guys know what I mean, like
I mean, it would work in that sense because you go to those higher echelon restaurants.
Okay, no, okay, never mind. Okay, Blaine does have a point. Blaine does have a point on that. I
And
retract my previous statement.
that would work for that. But like at a fast food place, going to other fast food places, it would
I mean,
work on a smaller scale. But
no. I mean, yeah, but it's still the same logic. So, still technically, yes.
it is. But I think this the gap between top to bottom is a lot smaller because versus like you have restaurants, you have like mom and pop Mexican place, and then you go all the way up to 5-star like Mexican restaurant. And
Yeah,
so just as an example, even in the same just sector there. And so I think that definitely works for those kinds of things.
I think it
Like
also could depend on your position too.
that's true. Like if you're managing those restaurants, then it's even then like managing fast food places.
Yeah,
Go to managing a Chick-fil-A and go whatever, this, that, and the other, and like the difference in money that you make for those. And so yeah,
yeah,
I
and
think
one of the things that I don't know how true this is. They did a skit talking about this, and they're like, "Hey, boss, I'm putting in my 2 weeks," and it was like, "Why are you making X amount?" He's like, "Yeah, but this other place, I can make this amount." He's like, "Yeah, but you can make that in a couple of years here." He's like, "Yeah, and also you're paying new people that'll be like at my level more money just so that way we can get more people." He's like, "Yeah, but you've been here with us for so long. Stay." And he's like,
yeah,
I'm a peace out." He's like,
yeah,
"Hey, are you?" It's like, "Hey," and then he gave him his old boss's resume. He's like, "Hey, here's my resume. I heard you have a position open." He's like, "You're gonna pay me that like beginner salary you've been paying everybody else now, right?"
uh-huh.
So I don't know like how true that is, like but I can imagine that like as time goes on, they start to increase the pay bump for
Yeah.
like more entry level positions, especially if the company needs those people. They'll be like, okay, throw a little bit more money out there, and and like a lot of companies, they have like the hey, don't talk about your pay and all that, which isn't legally, to my knowledge, if I remember hearing about this correctly, isn't legally binding and all that, and they can like legally, like they can fire you and all that for talking about that with other people because
They
technically that's illegal. I think if I remember correctly.
It's illegal for them to fire you when you talk if you talk about pay with other employees.
Yeah, because like
I can see that.
a lot of people, a lot of companies say, hey, don't talk about salaries and all that.
That's typically just a professionalism point. It's
Yeah,
not as much of a like you're not allowed to. There's probably some that you're may even sign a disclosure notice for probably there's somewhere guaranteed, but for the most part, it's always just a workplace professionalism to
that
not
and
do that, which at the end of the day kinda hurts the workers in some sense.
because
You
like
don't talk about pay because then that ones that are, that make less, then they won't know. So like it's good for that mental health kind of thing. But the guys who get undercut because they didn't know to ask for more money, then become discouraged with what they're doing because you just hired the new guy. The new guy makes more than you do, but you have no idea, and that's why you're not supposed to talk about it.
yeah, and they know they're gonna lose you and all that. They don't want to hire more people because that means they got to pay more money. And if they can keep the people that don't know they're making less than some other people, they'll still be cashing in that profit instead of having to hire people at that new salary and all that.
Yeah, and so that's part of the reason why, like, it's good. It's better for the company that you're ultimately not talking about that pay, so they can, not have that problem within the organization.
Yeah,
But
that way they
it
can
does happen.
make that way they can keep more money in their pockets too.
Your point about like, I don't know if this really happens. Oh, it happens. It
Yeah,
happens. It happens a lot. And especially with the old dogs that are maybe been somewhere for a couple years. When I happened at Dillard's. When I was over there, I was making as much as a manager. The A has worked with the company for eight years, but B was a manager of her position for 2, and I joined and I was making more than she was.
yeah. See, exactly.
And and in reality, does she deserve more money than I was making? Well, yeah, considering how good she was at her position in terms of knowledge and all that good stuff
And tenure and all that too.
and tenure. But you get there's certain places your tenure doesn't matter when you get to that next role. You're zero tenure in that role, so it's just like
Yeah.
entry level. Even though in reality it should probably be some more because even though you're zero tenure in that spot, you know a lot more than a guy like me coming in knowing nothing, blank canvas to be taught from new. But I got the benefit of being in the company being in a tighter spot and needing somebody so I can negotiate for higher pay. Not to mention they've already raised the bar a little bit because they're trying to attract talent.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, it's also luck of the draw and being in a good scenario to where there's more value in hiring somebody new. They got to attract somehow.
And here's another thing. If you go basically to like a different job, but it's basically similar skill sets, you can be like, hey, look, I'm bringing this years of experience and all that. I should be paid a little bit more than this. I know what to do and all that. You won't have to spend time training me. I know all the layout of all the program, etc., how to make cells, etc., etc. You know,
Yeah.
and if they're looking for somebody new, you have that years of experience that you can leverage and twist the arm with a little bit.
Yeah. And it's not even as much about twisting their arm, it's just about justifying value.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like when you go somewhere else, you take all the money that the other company paid for your training and you take that for free somewhere else. But then you get to use that as leverage to negotiate a higher pay because you are bringing the skills so they don't have to spend as much money training.
And here's another thing. It's like sometimes when you leave, you can be applying to higher positions too. Be like, hey, I have this amount of years of experience. I'll be perfect for this higher management role and all that, etc., etc., etc. Especially if the company won't hire you, if you see that just hiring, favoritism and all that, or they just never have an opening. why stay there when you can have an opening that will give you more money and all that, and higher rank and all that.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, unfortunately, even though it sounds nice, which was kind of the older way of doing things, at one point it was the way, was to ideally find a company you could work for 30 years and retire. Is, it sounds nice and you're going to be more comfortable if you can get into that, comfortable in terms of not having to be uncomfortable moving companies and navigating that. But you're going to, at the end of the day, you have a lower salary because when you make those changes, just going up in position wise, when jumping to another company, sometimes you take that next position and that experience with you because you were in line for that already where you were at, but you're able to transfer that either to a new role or a like role. And so if you're able to take that, you're able to use it for more money because every time you jump, because you're not going to leave for the same amount of pay typically unless
Or
you're in a
less.
bad spot or less. And companies are typically
Oh my
willing
god,
to
my
pay
arm
you.
freaked me out for a second. I was in the camera and I thought that was somebody else. Like, wait, what the? I was like, oh my god, that's just my hand.
Oh my goodness. And so, hello, babe. So whenever you go, you make that transition, they're willing to typically they're trying to entice people to come and like headhunters and talent hunters, and so a little bit more money to try to get you to come and be a part of their organization and take all your skills with them to make their place better. And so that's when you do those jumps is when you're fetching more money at the same time, or a better scenario where the grass is more green, then you get better benefits and things,
Like, yeah, exactly.
or work less.
Oh, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I literally heard on the radio today. Like, apparently a guy opened LinkedIn, and I think it was somewhere in Indiana, I think. Like, and he's from Washington, and he was in Indiana for some reason. He just like out of like open Indeed, but I guess it like showed him up in the results in the search results for Indiana because he was in Indiana when he opened it.
Okay.
Apparently, he got a message from a company in Indiana saying like, "Hey, we'll pay you the same amount to come over here instead of over there in DC." And he was like, I am tempted. I didn't finish the listening to it, but I think he said he was tempted because how much he was making in DC. I think he said it would be more money in Indiana.
Yeah.
So sometimes you do it just to like
Yeah,
maybe
taxes.
Does DC get taxes though? Because it's
I
technically
don't.
not a state. It's fun fact, everybody. DC is not a state. It is not in any state. It's technically a territory. And also, people that live in DC, unless they're a resident of a state, they cannot vote in the U.S. election. Fun fact.
Yeah, I've heard that bit before.
Yeah.
About the
So-
voting thing, which I think is very interesting.
The more you know, which is honestly really weird too, considering you live in the capital of the country, but you can't vote in its election.
I think that's really weird because,
Yeah.
like, you can live in the capital of Austin. I mean, the capital of Texas, and live in Austin and vote in local elections. Like, I just don't get
Yeah, but that's
what's the
because
significance of living that close and not being able to vote.
I think it's technically because the elections are always by the states and all that, and technically Washington D.C. is not a state; it's a territory.
Huh. I don't know. I
I've-
think it's interesting.
I've tangent sidetrack, but fun fact
Yeah.
in case you didn't know about that.
Mm-hmm. All right,
So, any thoughts about like should you jump ship and all that, Blaine?
ultimately, and this just happens to everybody, you'll get to a point, either A, you're really thoughtful about it and you intend to do it every couple of years, or B, you naturally get to a point where you feel like you're hitting more of a like stagnation and you're at a spot where like I want to do more things. I
I was
can't
gonna
because
say,
there's not an opening, or I'm trying to do more things and they're just not hiring me for the next thing. The next job up, next step up, because they're picking other people. Maybe for some reason they just decided they don't think you're a good person for that. And at that point, you decide, okay, well, I can go find elsewhere, and you can. And so, I mean, I think it's always a good. I'm always the one that's like I'm apt to look at options on the table, and I think it's always a good idea to look, just see options,
it
regardless
doesn't
of what it is.
it doesn't hurt to window shop.
Exactly. So it's
No.
always just be open-minded.
Now the
It
one
never hurts to listen.
now the one thing I will say about this is that I think maybe long term it could affect you because uh, from a business standpoint, I can be like, why am I hire this guy if he seems to go to a different job every couple of years? Why waste
True.
the time on him if he's just gonna jump ship at the end?
Yeah. And see, and that's the other side of it. In reality, your goal is someone who is building a team and stuff like that, or like a business, which the big businesses aren't thinking about that all the time. Now, recruiters, you see, when it comes down to a really big business, the recruiters don't care. They do care because they get paid based on tenure. But if you stay over over a year and longer, then they do okay, and they make more money based on you staying longer. And so for them, based on how they get paid, it doesn't bother them as much. Now, if you leave within 90 days, that's not good for them. And
Yeah,
so they want someone that's going to be a good fit that's going to stay because they're going to make extra money. So for them, every couple of years ain't too bad, and they want to make their paycheck and recruit talent. Now, when it comes down to it, though, with you building an organization and or building a team like your team within your organization is you find people who are trying to go to different spots because they're not at a good spot now and don't enjoy where they are. Your goal should be and is for some to find somebody you can put in there that wants to be there and wants to be a part of it. And then you as an employer is to take care of them. And that should be the goal, which is hard to find, but you bring someone in and your goal is to take care of them because you want to keep them.
yeah,
And that's kind of what people want to belong, and they want to find a place that they feel a part of. They feel like they're a part of what's going on and the vision and the goal of everything, and they matter. So if they can find a place that's like that, they're gonna want to stay because you take care of them. They show you care, and you want them to be there with you. And so like those things, you're at the end of the day, you're trying to attract the top talent and the good talent, and you take care of the talent, and the talent wants to stay. And then when things come up like that, like you give them raises, but maybe you don't, and they come up like say, "Hey, I want to, I feel like I should deserve a raise." Well, then like y'all have built a good relationship as a hardworking employee that takes care of everything you want and does extra, and then you as an employer that wants to take care of your good talent, then it's an easy conversation. Justify, okay, I sure we could pay you, a couple extra grand on this raise or whatever, blah blah blah.
yeah.
It's not
I
perfect like
honestly
that,
think
but
that's kind of unfortunately kind of like like what you were saying. That's kind of slowly starting to fade, at least with the big businesses. Because I think at the end of the day, it's like startups and all that. 100% totally agree with. But like big businesses, I feel like they'll be like, "Oh, you want more money? All right, out of here. Next."
well, they just know. They're just
Yeah,
you mean you can ask, and it's somewhere in those lines they can ask, and they have to ask upper, and upper says it's good, and then they can say, "All right, I've been approved to give more money," but they
yeah,
can't decide, even though they think you're worth it, without approval from elsewhere,
yeah,
typically. And so, I mean, just the larger businesses, they're made into a machine on purpose because a machine and it operates based on certain parameters and it runs efficiently, you're not going to change much. And so they're going to run on those parameters. They're a big machine. They can easily attract more talent. And so they're not worried about having to be that kind of way.
Oh, I'm sorry. This just reminded me of something else. Apparently, Amazon's gonna run out of people to hire within the next like decade, I think,
Huh.
because apparently the business model is not long term. It's like to keep people in short term and then just kick them out, basically.
And burn the hell out of them and make them work super hard till they quit.
Yeah, because basically, I don't know if this is true. This is what the video said. Apparently, like the business model is like they is like Bezos style, like long term employees and all that would tend to get lazy, slow down productivity and all that. So he didn't want that. He wanted people like in and out, in and out, in and out. Because they'll be working more and not get lazy because it's a
Wow.
new job. They're trying to prove themselves and all that. And I'm like,
Interesting. Well, I will
business,
say
yeah,
that I've heard people that have went and worked for Amazon, and they're just like, bro, they work you so hard because they're a pinnacle of what an algorithm is and knowing and understanding numbers. Because they're also like a data research, and where they get, information on consumers and sell that and use it to market. And so they know like how the system works and how to use the numbers and analyze and make. And so like for the people who work in there, like how fast a person should be able to process packages. So then they have a goal. They need to go at least this fast and all that stuff. So they know how to like make a person in the numbers. And I'm not trying to make that sound like, oh, Amazon, make you a number. I'm just trying to say like they understand how to work the system to make the person what they should be capable of doing and how hard they should be working, even if it's kind of really hard or not. They know what they can do. And so because of that, they know, okay, like when you're new, that hard work strategy, they want that forever, for example, probably. And so when you get lazy, you start to falter. Then like you're not hitting your packing numbers, for example, but you don't want to work that hard forever, and you want to work a little less hard. That's more reasonable instead of you busting your living ass every day for years,
Then,
and then that's when they filter you out.
then from what I've heard, they have insane quotas to make, and like super strict on like a bunch of stuff. Like
Yeah, like
you can,
restroom breaks and stuff. I've heard.
like from what I've heard, it's like you cannot leave your designated area, which is basically like a 5x5x5 square, or you get a penalty.
See, isn't that crazy? Because they know how to work this, and they know if you're not going to make it, they can fill it with somebody else, and
But
so they work with what they know how to do. But
now
yeah,
it seems like it's gonna backfire on them.
yeah, potentially. But I mean, but then a decade, they're probably going to have a lot more robots because this just only makes sense. I don't
Because
know.
I think I even though they use a lot of robots, I think the majority of it's still humans.
There's a certain point where our tech for AI isn't good enough to do certain things that humans are able to do and understand.
Yeah.
So if they could, in which it takes time to integrate that kind of stuff and research and make, and a lot of money, but if they could, they would fully automate if they could, because you eliminate all labor, you have a steady cost, which ultimately is less, presumably, than paying a person, and the robot doesn't get sick. It has kids, it has a family, and doesn't need to sleep. There's maintenance and stuff, but still, nothing like maintenance of a human.
I just thought it was like crazy. I'm like, wow, it's like looks like his plan may have backfired. Made a lot of money in the short term, but maybe changed a little bit, Amazon. Just my personal opinion. Don't like make everybody want to leave automatically.
Yeah, I don't know. They've
Or,
got,
or make people not want to walk there.
yeah. I think they'll be all right, but it'll be cool to see. It'll be interesting to see something of that nature.
All right. Anyway, you guys, that's it for today's episode.
Is that it?
Oh,
I
and
don't know what you say, Blaine. Where can they find us? We have a thing, Brandon. There's a system
yeah,
here.
my bad, my bad. I thought you were gonna pick up on the thing.
I mean, I was picking up, but I was kind of disappointed that we didn't have our system again.
Might be.
So where can they find us, Blaine? Oh yeah, they can find us on Instagram at Ford Long Haul Podcast. Now, obviously, you guys can also shoot us an email if you'd like, or sponsorship information or anything like that at ftlhpodcast@gmail.com, which Brandon typically puts on the screen right about right now. But he's on his phone and he doesn't hear what I'm saying because he's not really paying attention. And so FTLH podcast, and he's still not listening. Gmail at FTLH. See, let me just restart real quick. Our email is FTLHpodcast@gmail.com, just like for the long haul. Brandon has not put it on the screen. So now we also have a YouTube channel. So if you'd like to watch instead of just listening, you can see Brendan wave at Ford Long Haul Podcast on YouTube. So yeah, however you like to consume your content, you want to watch, have something in the background, and listen at the same time, more than welcome to. Help us grow no matter where you are.
All right, you guys have a good one until the next one.
All right. We'll see you guys next time.